you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast, the hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. It's Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. When the Iron Lady sings it, that makes it official. Welcome to the big show. We certainly appreciate you guys having you here. As always, the Chris Voss Show is the family that loves you but doesn't judge you, which makes it the best kind of family as always. Be sure to follow the show on LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, YouTube.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss 1 on the TikTokity, and all those crazy places we are on the internet. Today we have an amazing young man we're going to be talking to. Shurick Agapitov is on the show with us today. He is the CEO and founder of Exala, and his new book is coming out. It's called Once Upon Tomorrow, Harnessing the New Opportunities the Metaverse Creates. It's out March 5th, 2024. We're going to be talking about his insights in the future of the internet, the metaverse, etc., etc. As the founder of Exala, he not only is a respected innovator, but also a driving force in shaping the future of gaming and the metaverse. His trailblazing company allows video game producers to sell in-game items in exchange for a 5% portion of each sale. When anyone purchases something in-game, his company powers that transaction worldwide. His clients include Epic Games Store, a Ubisoft, Twitch, and hundreds more. With a global presence spanning Los Angeles, Berlin, Seoul, Exala, under his leadership, is fostering a more decentralized and inclusive industry. Welcome to the show, Shurick. How are you?
Very well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. We really appreciate it. So give us any .coms. Where do you want people to find you on the interwebs to get to know you better?
I like the exotic domains. So I have a 80.lv, 80.lv, and I have a x.la for the as a consumer destination, as a gamers destinations, which is my new addition. And of course, Exala.com is my prime business, which is I founded this company almost 20 years ago now.
There you go. I think I've helped fund it through all the video game purchases I made. So I'm one of your customers, technically. What's that?
Yeah. Happy to have you as a customer.
Thank you. So give us, we play a few video games around here. So give us a 30,000 overview of your new book, Once Upon Tomorrow.
It's a book about the future of the internet, which is some people call the metaverse. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the people misuse the metaverse or overuse the metaverse and saying like Roblox or Fortnite is a metaverse. In my definition, those are virtual worlds. Mm-hmm. And the metaverse is a new internet, which looks like a video games. And and it's a first chapter is about how Zuckerberg get it wrong, and the second chapter explain my accent and where I'm coming from.
There you go. I was going to bring that up. That was one of my first questions for you. You kind of throw some shade at the old Zuckerberg there in the first chapter. So how do you define metaverse separately from what his vision was, or is there a separation?
So the fact when somebody can name their company as a meta and then declare themselves as a CEO as a metaverse, it's as silly as if I would name my LLC Internet and call myself the CEO of the Internet. And so nobody can own the Internet, nobody can own the metaverse. And similar joke from the previous generation of the Internet gold rush is from the Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. It's a story when Steve Jobs is saying to Steve Wozniak, "Did you heard about these new things called internet? Maybe we should buy it." So here we are again. There's a new things called metaverse, and I want to own it.
Yeah, so he definitely saw the future of it. Now, there's a lot of people talk about the future of the internet is this thing called Web3. Is your version of what the metaverse is different than this Web3? How does that all work together or not?
Yeah, so it's funny. A few years ago, people started using this Web3, and a lot of the experts would explain what's a Web 1, Web 2, and Web 3, and then what's the difference. I will not repeat. I think a lot of the people heard that explanations and slightly slightly different variations. For me, the most exciting thing is not the Web3, but Web 3D.
Oh.
So I do believe the internet is getting as a spatial place or 3D space. And
there you go. And life seems to be coming like a video game. What's your thoughts on the new Apple Google Glass, basically?
Well, VR and the headsets like this is going to be a subset of the metaverse. It's not, again, the metaverse. It's one of the many screens when you can experience the metaverse. I think the virtual reality or 3D glasses, headsets, it's going to be a consumer choice. Somebody like to invest in the full HD TV systems. Some of the people have the movie theaters at their home, but some of us prefer to experience the internet and the content on the small mobile screen. The important elements of the metaverse is similar like in the real world. There's a environment, right? There's rooms, realms. I call them meta sites. There's of course users or people in real world, business opportunities, and it could be in a Web3 guys would see that as a wallets. Or identity profiles, and there's a stuff like similar in real life. We have the stuff, and the metaverse is going to be digital items. So when we have those 3D spaces, virtual spaces, and we carry the digital items, backpack of the digital items, similar like in the video games, and then we can walk through the one virtual world, let's say Roblox, to the Fortnite through some sort of the portal, which is analogy would be in previous internet is a hyperlink, is a hyper portal. When you walk through that from one virtual world to another virtual world, that is the metaverse moment. That's meaning we have the metaverse. And in the future, you're gonna carry the digital items from every experience you have online. So right now you go to every website and you accept cookies. In the future, you're going to accept digital items as a reward of your attention and as a reward for you being tracked by advertising. And you redeem those items for the real goods. Similar coupons.
There you go. I know Amazon has a deal with the different game stuff, different games like Destiny and different things like Modern Warfare, where they give you because for letting them track you through Amazon, I guess they give you free, ships and different things. Is it kind of like maybe that?
Well, those digital items exist for decades with video games, and I think what Amazon is doing is give away those items for the Prime users. It's adding the value for the Prime users. Right now, we cannot see who received those items just to be tracked. It's a digital items very much valued by gamers, and the gamers love them. And there's 2.3 billion gamers out there, right? It's not I just want to highlight that number for the audience.
So will in the future will these be on maybe the blockchain so you can track them?
So blockchain is one of the good candidates for the standard as you imagine NFT, but it's as an open API. The idea is when you accept those items and let's say you accept a virtual cup of coffee for you watching the video advertising. So that's people pay for your attention. You get this virtual cup of coffee. And you can redeem that virtual cup of coffee in retail, or you maybe transfer it to somebody else who would appreciate it. So it's kind of it could be on blockchain, but it's not necessary.
Okay. So we'll come back to the book. Let's talk about you a little bit. Your second chapter of the book talks about your growing up, I believe, in Siberia. Tell us about your history, how you grew up, what influenced you, what motivated you and got you into Silicon Valley and doing what you're doing now.
So I grew up very, very poor in Siberia, and my dad was alcoholic, and my mom was a working class, and she always encouraged me to learn math and maybe one day to have a desk job. And so I studied a lot, and math was kind of easy for me, and I saw it as a way out. Unfortunately, I didn't finish the math university. I drop out from it and start my business.
Mm-hmm.
And I was 21 years old when I started solar. And
Really?
And yeah.
Yeah.
And
what was the vision that you saw there? What was the proponent for you starting your own company there?
This was the internet. I was fascinated by internet, and internet propose and invite so many opportunities, and you can learn virtually anything on internet. And I like that concept, learn and earn. But that's my mom told me you should learn to earn. But I learned. I saw it on the internet, but there's so much more opportunity than whatever local job or whatever career could offer.
Yeah.
So I learned many things on the internet and start my internet business.
There you go. You're the first internet children, the millennials, right?
Yes.
There you go. And it certainly beats going out in that Siberian winter and snow. So at what point do you come to America?
So I come to San Francisco. I read on VentureBeat or TechCrunch. If you have a tech startup, you should go to San Francisco and maybe raise the money at Silicon Valley. And I moved to San Francisco in 2009, and I failed to raise money, and I moved to Los Angeles.
There you go.
That was 2009. Maybe something happened in 2008. Maybe it's my accent again. So I failed, and turned out is the best things would happen to me.
There you go. So failure. It happens to everybody, but you persevered through it and kept it going, and now you've built this amazing company, and the future is there. How is Xala positioned for the metaverse? I imagine one of the reasons you're writing about this book is you see that there's an incredible future and maybe a profit center for your company.
So I believe the future of the internet will be built with the video games technologies. Mm-hmm. It's worth noting, like, a lot of the innovation happened because of the video games.
Yeah.
If you think about like NVIDIA and artificial intelligence, they exist because of the video games, right? Self-driving cars exist because of the NVIDIA, and NVIDIA exists because of the video games. If you think about whatever VR, I don't know, future could look like, before the surgeon going to do the surgery, remote surgery in virtual reality, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of the gamers who are going to play, maybe not surgery games, but any kind of sort of the. So we're going to have the virtual reality because of the video games. And blockchain, most likely adoption is going to happen for the gaming. Similar like would people buy the computers to play the video games and learn how to use the computer later. And I think a lot of innovation we're going to have because of the video games.
There you go. You know, I have a 4090 behind me in the computer, that an NVIDIA 4090, and being able to go fast not only works for video games, but it works fast for everything else. But boy, I sure wish I bought NVIDIA stock last year, because man, that thing is taking the hell off.
Yeah.
Which is probably an indication of what you're writing about and talking about in your book. And you indicate that, I mean, we're talking trillions of dollars here, people, as your chapter 3. So you see an incredible future market for this.
Yeah, I think that's the future of the internet. And a lot of the things are going to be reset. User acquisitions and the privacy regulations, they're working against the current establishment, Facebook and Google. Those things have changed. Mm-hmm. And the way how we experience it, visual, is also changing. So I'm, as an internet entrepreneur, want to share that vision with the future internet entrepreneurs. And it's going to be slightly different than before.
There you go. Now, you refer to the book in something called meta sites. What are meta sites?
It's a website, but in the new internet. Mm-hmm. Meta site, it's every company who have a website today. In the future, they want to have the meta site, which is basically like mini MMORPG, and it's going to be even replace, I think, the commercials, because developing the games is getting easier and easier. But those are mini games I think every brand would like to have. Every school would like to have meta sites. And because we have the artificial intelligence generated content, all this synthetic contents, I think to have an immersive experience is going to be absolutely necessary for the users, because there's so many information and the attention span is getting narrow and narrow. people spend a lot of time on TikTok, but they spend more times on Roblox.
Yeah, that thing is crazy. Those kids love that.
And that's how the internet may look like in the future. Between different experiences. Right now, it's like a Roblox control sample of the corner of the metaverse, but it's not a metaverse, it's a virtual world. When those virtual worlds connect with each other, this is their metaverse.
That's going to be amazing. I was just sitting here thinking, how can I turn the ChrisVossShow.com podcast into a video game so that people can interact with it like you're talking about? And then I realized, it'd be really cool is if somebody could virtually come sit in to like an interview like this one here, and then they could jump in and maybe ask questions of the guests, and then an AI system would go like suck some of their questions they've asked on multiple occasions from the internet, and it would almost seem like a seamless experience. How about that for a vision?
Yeah, so that's exactly how I think it's going to be. And in the video games, there's a lot of technology, and an AI could build a very engaging NPC. And I think in the future, brands would be represented by NPC as a character, because the AI would enable us to not only just to have this like robot customer support, but embedded the personality and the character. And you know how to feel about those different characters. And the people here in Hollywood who develop the characters professionally, I think it's going to work with the brands and develop the very interesting teaser or characters and with the slight imperfection, which is represent the brand the way the brands want it.
Wow. So my future is being an NPC podcast host in the Chris Voss Show?
Well, that's if you want that.
Welcome to the Chris Voss Show podcast. I am here to serve you. So there you go. You talk about Ethereum and blockchain and coin, I think it is, being a part of the internet. What are your thoughts on that, if you want to tease a little bit about that?
Well, as I mentioned before, those are good candidates for the standards. The internet need to have the standards, open standards, like email standard is working really well, right? And we all use it. Although it was attempts to make the email as a private technology and charge everybody a few cents here and there for the email sent and received, I think could be some sort of the standards. And NFT is a good candidate. The problem with the standards as an anecdote, every time when we see the problem, there's so many standards, like it's a 10 different standards for the one specific things, like let's say for how those virtual worlds would connect with each other, right? How the items gonna work. So the people came and says, it makes sense to have the one standard, and they create in the one standard, and at the end we have 11 standards, and that's happen all the time.
There you go. How should we address the ethical considerations and potential negative impacts of the metaverse? Is there going to be a dark metaverse like there's a dark web?
Well, I think the metaverse or any internet, when it's a small city or small country size of the populations, it reflects our society. So whatever bad things we have in every town, there's a bad corners on any sample of the population.
There you go. So we're going to have some bad neighborhoods maybe. What's some advice you give to entrepreneurs? I know at the end of the book you give advice on how to take advantage of this space in the future coming. What's some advice you give to entrepreneurs who are interested in entering the metaverse space? Well,
look, it's you need to find the role. So first of all, read the book and understand the vision. And it's just one potential vision. Maybe it's not. It's my opinion, right? And it's not guaranteed it's going to happen next 3 months, next quarter, or next year. It's going to happen once upon tomorrow, or maybe never happen. Maybe we're going to have the pivot, so it's very hard to make the prediction. So as a general advice for any entrepreneurs, you need to define if you afford to be an entrepreneur. Do you willing to take the risk? If you have the responsibility like your family and take care of yourself, so it's maybe need to find a way to have a more safer road. But for those who definitely want to have the entrepreneurs, I don't need to tell them what to do. They know what to do. They have ideas. And those ideas, they floating around. Opportunities like coming every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in one of the chapters in your book, it's titled "I Love LA and So Does the Metaverse." So why is the Metaverse so good in LA, and why do you hate San Francisco?
Well, I love Los Angeles. I grew up in a small town, and I love to be in a big town. We have a lot of great entertainment. We have good deals of the sport entertainment. I don't know, Las Vegas is saying we're a capital. I think Los Angeles is a capital of the sport. We have every major team, 2 teams for every major sport, right? So, but on serious note is, I do believe in the future of the internet, the storytelling is going to be much more important than technology. For the past wave of the internet gold rush, you have to be developer, you have to know to understand the technology. Now we have all the technology which is enable the new internet. Maybe some infrastructure, maybe lacking some of the infrastructure for the 3D rendering, but storytelling is going to be the most important things for the new internet.
There you go.
And yeah.
Do you feel that this can save Hollywood? There's been some concerns where Tyler Perry recently shut down his $800 million studio expansion after he saw the ChatGPT Sora video generation devices. Do you think the metaverse is the thing that can save Hollywood and keep the storytelling machine there rolling, or how do you see that whole playing out?
I like how Bob Iger mentioned is Metaverse is a storytelling device. I like that expression. It is a storytelling device, and they partnered with the Epic Games to begin with to make the storytelling is more interactive. What I know for the fact, the video games is bigger than movies and music combined, because it's much more engaging in its activities. And the reason is every behavioral scientist who's working on video games know the interactive content is much more engaging because users want to have not to be ignored. They don't want to be a passive observer. So in every game designers know if I can make the mark in the walls or in games, the more responsive the environment I'm interacting with, the more satisfying and more interesting the game, because people want to be in that center and go to the wrong directions. They want to have the opportunity to leave the mark on the wall. And that's those games who allow that, they are much more interesting than others, like it's just more linear and
so probably the where NVIDIA is really blowing up is they have their thumb on the pulse of being able to provide, potentially in the future, those immersive metaverse experiences you're talking about, right?
Well, NVIDIA have the many reasons to be successful companies, including, of course, the strong video games and the current cycle probably mostly demanding on the artificial special AI architectures. But with the video games and renderings, it's definitely another wave and the demand.
Yeah, I was using an older video card and older computer up until about 6 months ago, and then we bought the new computer with the 4090 in it. And, I was like, okay, well, how much better is it going to look? Oh, my God. I mean, it's so much more immersive and enriching, and it's like night and day. It just creates such a better immersive experience. And so I imagine once we get in the metaverse and everything's 360 and I can move the camera around where I can look in different ways, it's just I'll never leave home, basically.
Well, imagine to have the projects like Wikipedia rendered in the photorealistic environments like AAA games those days. Imagine to have any websites you go in the format like that. How it's going to change the education, and how it's going to change the commerce, and how it's going to impact the marketing. So that's excitement about the next generation of the internet.
There you go. Anything we haven't touched on in your book that you want to tease out to people?
Well, I think you did a good homework, and
we covered it all, darn it.
You nailed it. And I just want to say it's a journey. I do believe in American dream. I do believe there is opportunity out there on the internet. I do believe, for me, it was I'm living example how internet, it was a great equalizer of the opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's still have a lot of the opportunities for the social economical mobility. And I just want to tell everybody who is listening to this podcast, believe in themselves, try to become entrepreneurs and find their place in the new internet and in the metaverse, and enjoy the game.
There you go. And when you need to do payment processing, call Exala for your video games. There you go. So thank you very much, Shurick, for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. Give us any .coms, wherever you want people to find you on the interwebs as we go out.
So if you want to build a meta site for your business, come to the 80.lv. 80.lv. 80 level.
There you go. So order up the book, folks, wherever fine books are sold. It's available now at March 5th, 2024. Once Upon Tomorrow, harnessing the new opportunities the metaverse creates, and get your hands on the exciting future and build a company in entrepreneurialism inspiration. I love it. Thank you very much, everyone, for being on the show and visiting with us. Go to goodreads.com, /Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com, /Chris Voss, Chris Voss, one of the TikTokity, all those crazy places on the internet. Thanks for tuning in. Be good to each other. Stay safe. And we'll see you guys next time.